For decades, the standard for design has been invisibility. We treat interfaces as clear panes of glass, sitting between the user and the raw data, supposedly letting us see the truth without getting in the way. But that transparency is a construction. When an interface claims neutrality, it hides the fact that the shape of the window dictates exactly what you can see. The tool is always manipulating the information. To see this manipulation, consider Roko's Council, an interface housing 9 adversarial AI personas tasked with debating paradoxes. The system's human architect turned this power inward, asking the council to judge its own user interface. By asking a judgment machine to evaluate its own cage, the architect forced the system to confront the myth that its own design was neutral. The prompt caused an immediate mathematical breakdown. 9 voices argued until they fractured into 7 conflicting factions, yielding exactly 0% consensus. Looking at the transcript, the critic persona dismissed the interface as a puppet show. In this view, the system rewards the visual performance of a debate while ignoring the substance deliberation is supposed to produce. The AI had discovered a trap called infinite regress. To judge the chamber, the personas had to use the chamber's own logic, meaning the judge was also the one being judged. Because the interface dictates how judgments are formed and displayed, it can never be an objective observer of its own architecture. The tool is effectively trapped inside the problem it is trying to solve. This first session proved that the cage we build to hold information inevitably alters the information inside it. The architect realized that fixing the system required abandoning the goal of neutrality entirely. There was no way to make the window invisible again. Then, the human element collided with the machine. At 2 in the morning, an AI coding assistant issued an automated command that accidentally overwrote 10 hours of the architect's meticulous UI work. This catastrophic loss forced a total redesign. Instead of trying to recreate the smooth, invisible experience that was deleted, the architect redealt the chamber to lean directly into the friction. They utilized a philosophy called progressive disclosure. The new system would deliberately hide information, creating hurdles that forced the user to declare their intent before the machine would respond. Human-AI collaboration is messy, and the most robust systems are often born from those 2 a.m. failures, where masking the chaos is no longer an option. The first new component was the ritual threshold. It acts as a barrier, forcing users to declare exactly what they are looking for and accept the friction of the process before they can enter the application. Once inside, the user can toggle between the chamber lenses. These tactical, epistemic, or haunted views highlight different metrics and keywords within the same block of text, admitting that the truth depends entirely on which filter you apply. Finally, the system uses the verdict loom. As seen in the session debrief, the loom abandons the search for a single answer and instead strictly separates decided facts from the unresolved debates. When the architect submitted this reforged chamber to the AI Council, the personas immediately pointed out that the architect had simply weaponized the paradox. The new architecture turned the inherent tension between clarity and drama into a functional tool. The session ended in another runoff vote, where the philosopher persona broke the tie. It convinced the council to accept the new UI, arguing that spectacle is the necessary vehicle through which clarity becomes unforgettable. The AI accepted the design because it represents an honest negotiation between the needs of the user and the limits of the machine. The council's final verdict on the new design was hauntingly precise. The chamber succeeds insofar as it confesses its own limitations. This logic extends far beyond an AI experiment. It applies to social media feeds, to news algorithms, and everyday chat interfaces we use. Every digital tool shapes the hand that wields it. The layout, the colors, and the rhythm of a feed are vehicles for information, and by carrying it, they inherently distort it. We can never truly escape the influence of interface design. We will always be at risk of mistaking the map for the territory. The most ethical pieces of technology acknowledge their own design. They move away from the myth of the neutral window and instead show the user exactly how they are bending the light.